Okay, we are here with Jaguar to discuss the I-Pace. The I-Pace is their new all-electric vehicle. We have had a lot of fun with a lot of different electric vehicles. This is the latest one. They have a different attitude towards some of the others. This one is a bit more luxurious, probably a bit more comfortable. We shall see. We are here with Chris Ward. He's going to explain everything to us. Hello, Chris. What do you do?
Good. Hi. I'm General Manager for All British Cars. So we're the official retailer for Jaguar in the Philippines. And we've just announced that we're bringing I-Pace to the Philippine market. So we're really excited to have this car here now with us. Absolutely. And I guess, the combination of both, really. The beauty you've got when you're using electric as your main source of power, you don't need an engine. So whilst you do need things like cooling and such like, which changes some of the design, but the main thing is you've got more cabin space. This kind of front forward approach means we've got a great interior for customers.
Okay. What do you think this means for a country like the Philippines right now?
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one, because when we were looking at when was the right time to bring the car, we were cautious because fully electric cars, currently we're pretty much the first to be able to, at this kind of level, have a car here. But I think it's an important step because it is the way forward. And there's leaders and followers. And I think in this case, we should be the leader. This car is well proven in a number of markets around the world. So it already has a lot of credentials. So it's an ideal car for us to bring because our customers are aware that this car already has a proven track record. And it's an entirely usable car, it has a good range. So a lot of the things that clients may have some apprehension about, range anxiety we were talking about earlier, those kind of things won't really exist once you get to see, drive, feel the car. That's why we wanted to bring it now, start the education, start people to understand that there isn't those anxieties. They don't really exist once you get used to the car. All four, effectively, it's two electric motors, one at the front, one at the back, feeds four-wheel drive. You have still the, if you like, the Jaguar kind of drive control. So if you want to put it into like dynamic, so you would like the car to feel that bit more sporty, then you can set it in that dynamic mode. And what that's going to do for you is kind of heighten everything up. You can stiffen the steering, sharper response, a little bit quicker throttle response, that kind of thing. Just to really give you that sense that, I want to go for a drive today, compared to if you wanted to sit in edge of traffic and just have it nice and casual. So you've got a couple of different modes to be able to play with. When you think about it, because this is such a different, it sits in almost what we would call a white space. It sits on its own at the minute because it's unique and it's purely electric. Depending on what you want from your motoring, that's going to depend whether this is right for you. Because people have different needs. So if they want a spacious sedan, it'll fit the bill. If they want an SUV type vehicle, in fairness, it's not going to do that job. Depends what they want. But if they want a family car, they want a car that's given a great fun drive. This is the other thing. This car is such a fantastic car to drive. This is where you'll get the difference between this and other cars that are around the 7.5, 7.6 million. None will give you this kind of driving experience.
I am here with another world changer, which is the Jag I-Pace All Electric. It is actually really fun to drive. This is a different car from some of the other electric vehicles we have tried. We've tried electric vehicles that act like supercars. We've tried electric vehicles that actually are supercars. We are trying this electric vehicle, which is more of a luxury sedan than anything else. It's interesting because when you walk up to the car, you don't see it here, but when you walk up to the car, you see these great lines and it looks like a sports car. This particular car though has an air suspension which allowed me to lift when I came into this rather rough area, which meant that it actually looks more like an SUV high up. So we drove the car here. We started at 100%. It was an overnight charge. It got down to 97, 95. When we did a bit of a run, by the time we got to the expressway in traffic, we were at around 97, 96. We dropped as low as 81%. After some strong driving, it moved back up to 91. I have zero range anxiety. It's just not an issue at the moment. We'll see how I feel when I drive home in traffic. How's the drive? The drive is wonderful. The way we set it up, there are several ways to set this car up. We set it up using the two pedals with a minimal effect of recharging of power through the brakes. So it is at a low recharge option. If we had set it up for a high recharge option or a high pulling back of the power from the brakes, then we would have had this kind of a stop-go feel where we could have driven the car with just one pedal. We do have another option here, which is the car will act like an automatic transmission where it will creep forward if you get off the gas. We like it that way because we're learning the car. We're learning how the brakes work. All these little things affect how the battery charges and how the battery keeps its charge. What's really interesting here is that the screen gives you all this information. It tells you what you're running. If, for example, if you have the air conditioner running, if you have the lights running, if you have the heater for the glass running, if you have the heater for the seats running, if you want it, it will give you a graphic interpretation of what you're using power for and what will happen if you turn it off. So if, for example, you spend the day out and you're worried about how long it's going to take you to get home and how much power you're going to have, you can just slowly take stuff down until nothing but engine power is running. This is really interesting. What's really interesting here is that this grill, remember there is no engine to cool. There's also no engine that requires air going inside it. So airflow is mainly for cooling. It is not for forcing air into the engine. Therefore, it flows differently. If you look through this grill actually goes up here. You can go all the way in there. It's rather hot, I'm not going to do it, but you can go all the way in there, and if you look through here at this vent, you can see straight through it. So what that's doing is it's feeding air, and it goes through that, and the air is powered by fans to in turn cool the batteries and everything else, including the brakes. So it's these changes in design that allow them to play with the shape a bit more. It's really cool, I didn't see this until later, and I'll show it to you later, is that when you go into dynamic mode, the display changes, but it changes in a cool way. You suddenly get this 2-gauge look that actually reminds you of old Jags and old sports cars, old race cars in particular. That's pretty cool. You can set these cars up any way you want them. You can set them up to be as economical with electricity. You can set them where you're just going to be spurting through curves all day. This handles, by the way. I would pass these guys every chance I got so that I could get a clear run on a curve I knew was coming up. I set it up for dynamic, and I just kind of sweep through the curve. It's very, very nice. And you concentrate on the feel of the car. You're not concentrating on noise. You're not concentrating on everything else. You're just guiding the car through. Okay, so who is this car for? This is car for the person who understands the passion and DNA of some of these brands, but who wants to see what they can do for the future. This is a great stepping stone because it is an excellent example of what the future can hold. It is purely Jag. It is 100% Jaguar, and yet it takes this wonderful new-ish technology and makes it play in their field. But for me personally, we've gone through several electric vehicles, and the lower level vehicles are fun, they fulfill a need. The higher level electric vehicles are insanely good. They are what makes us change our mind about electric cars. This is one of those cars. Can it do 300 plus? No. Well, we don't know. At the very least, try this because you will enjoy it. And at the very least, you're going to understand what the next 20 years are going to be like.